We open on a quiet, cobblestone street in Prague. The morning sun cuts through a light mist, illuminating the historic buildings. A young woman, maybe 25, sits on a bench, not looking at her phone, not reading a book. She is simply watching the Vltava River flow by. Her hand rests softly on her noticeably pregnant belly. She smiles, not a smile of surprise, but one of deep, profound contentment. This is Anna, and her story, once considered a miracle, is now the new normal. Cut to a montage of scenes across the Czech Republic. A female scientist in a lab coat in Brno, laughing with colleagues. A farmer in South Moravia, her hands covered in soil, standing proudly in a vineyard. A CEO in a modern Prague high-rise leading a board meeting. All of them, every single woman, are pregnant. This is the Czech Republic in 2025, a country transformed by a single inexplicable fact. All ladies are fertile. It did not happen with a bang, not with a scientific announcement or a mysterious event. It was gradual, a quiet dawning. Doctors first noticed it about 3 years ago. Women who had spent a decade and a small fortune on fertility treatments, women who had been told they would never conceive, were suddenly, unexpectedly, pregnant. At first, it was called a statistical anomaly, then a wave of medical miracles. But as the months passed, the truth became undeniable. There were no more cases of infertility. None. For any woman of childbearing age, conception was not just possible. It was a certainty, if desired. The biological clock, a source of anxiety for generations, had simply stopped ticking. The change rippled through society, reshaping everything in its path. Let's start with the most obvious place, the doctor's office. Dr. Eva Vorachkova, an obstetrician for 30 years, remembers the before times. Her office was a place of both immense joy and profound sorrow. Now, she says, it is a place of pure planning. The fear is gone. The consultations are different. They are about timing, about health, about readiness. The question is no longer if, but when. The old painful vocabulary, infertility, miscarriage, IVF, is slowly fading from use, becoming historical terms like polio or smallpox. This shift has sparked a revolution in healthcare. Prenatal care has become the absolute focus of medicine. Research money that once poured into fertility clinics now floods into ensuring the healthiest possible pregnancies and the most advanced neonatal care. The goal is zero complications. It is an ambitious, driving force for the entire medical community. But what does this mean for a woman's life? For her choices? Meet Marketa, a 28-year-old software engineer. Before the change, she felt a constant, low-level pressure. She was in a race against her own biology. Find a partner, build a career, buy an apartment, all before time ran out. Now, she says, that pressure valve has been released. She can breathe. She and her partner, Tomáš, are talking about children, but it's a conversation about their life plan, not a biological imperative. They want to travel more first. She wants to lead a major project at work. The panic is gone. For the first time, women feel they truly own their timeline. This has led to an unexpected demographic trend. The average age of first-time mothers is rising, not falling. Women are choosing to have their first child later in life, in their late 30s and even 40s, with the same ease and low risk as a woman in her 20s. This has created a generation of highly educated, economically established, and deeply intentional mothers. The economy has had to adapt at a breathtaking speed. The government, anticipating a baby boom, launched the Family First initiative. It is the most generous family policy in the world. Extended, fully paid parental leave is now 2 years per child, and it can be split between parents. Every new child comes with a substantial financial grant, enough to cover the essentials for the first year. But the biggest change is in infrastructure. Construction cranes dot the skylines of every major city. They are not building office towers, but new schools, state-of-the-art kindergartens, and expansive playgrounds. Old factories have been converted into community centers, offering free parenting classes and child activities. The country is literally rebuilding itself around the family. This has created a boom in certain job sectors. Teachers, pediatric nurses, and childcare workers are now the most sought-after professionals. Their salaries have doubled, their status elevated to that of national heroes. The sound of children laughing and playing is the new soundtrack of Czech towns and cities. The famous Czech forests and castles are now filled with families on weekends. A vibrant, youthful energy pulsing through the ancient landscape. But this new reality is not without its shadows. Not every pregnancy is a celebration. The law around abortion has become the most heated, divisive topic in Parliament. With infertility eliminated, the argument against abortion has gained a powerful new voice. If a woman can easily avoid pregnancy through contraception, then why would a termination ever be necessary? This is a painful, complex debate, tearing at the social fabric. Support services for women in crisis pregnancies have become more critical than ever. There is another, quieter story. The story of women who choose not to have children. In a society where motherhood is not just encouraged, but effortlessly available, their choice can be seen as a rejection of a national gift. They speak of a different kind of pressure now, a social expectation to participate in this collective miracle. Their path requires a new kind of courage. And what of the men? For Jakub, a 30-year-old carpenter, the change has been profound. He says the dynamics of dating and relationships have completely shifted. The old script, where having children was a complicated negotiation, is gone. Now, the conversation about children is a direct conversation about values, about desire, about life goals. There are no biological excuses left. It has forced a new level of honesty and partnership. Many men, he says, have stepped up, becoming more involved fathers, more supportive partners, because the journey is no longer seen as solely the woman's biological burden, but a shared life choice. We return to Anna on the bench by the river. She stands up, slowly, and begins to walk. The camera follows her through the streets of Prague. We see other women of all ages, all walks of life. A university student with a baby strapped to her chest, listening to a lecture. A grandmother, holding the hand of her young granddaughter, pointing to the astronomical clock. The city, once a monument to history, now feels like a cradle for the future. The change was not about making everyone have children. It was about giving everyone the choice, the power to decide when and if to bring a new life into the world, without fear, without struggle. It has not created a perfect utopia. There are still arguments, still economic disparities, still complex moral dilemmas. But it has replaced a deep, ancient anxiety with a profound sense of possibility. The Czech Republic has become a living experiment. What happens when you remove one of the greatest sources of uncertainty from half the population? The answer is unfolding every day, in the laughter of children in new playgrounds, in the confident strides of women pursuing their dreams on their own schedule, and in the quiet, contented smile of a woman like Anna, watching the river flow, knowing the future is entirely in her hands.